Welcome to Living from the Heart. I am your host, Tina Thrussell, woman who dances with light. I am the co-founder of Best You Can Be and messenger of the Shindell, the way of the heart. The way of the heart is the way of living with love, kindness, and compassion for yourself first. For when you have that for yourself, then you can give to the world from your overflow. And I am excited today to have Julie Reisler on my show. Julie is an amazing woman whom I was introduced to through Frances Faden, who was on my show just very recently. And she said, "Do you know Julie? I think you'd like her and you'd like to have her on your show." And Julie and I talked, and Frances nailed that right. Julie is wonderfully heart-based. She's enthusiastic. She loves life. She loves helping people develop their intuition so that they can be their You-est you. She is a master intuitive coach, a best-selling author, a TEDx speaker, a host of her own podcast show, and the founder of the School of Sacredology. I love that. The School of Sacredology. That was enough to make me want to have her on the show alone. So we'll talk about that in just a minute. But before I bring Julie on, I would like to invite you to receive Heart and Mind Matters. This is an inspirational article, a YouTube video, a quote of the week, and it comes into your inbox every other Tuesday morning. It's complimentary, and you can receive it by subscribing at bestyoucanbe.ca. That's BEST, the letter U, CAN, the letter B.ca. You can also subscribe at shindell.com, SHIND as in Donald, AO.com, which is the site where you'll learn more about the philosophy of living the way of the heart. So without further ado, I would love to introduce you to Julie Reisler. Good morning, Julie.
Hi, so fun to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for agreeing to be here, especially because in just a little while you are launching one of your own programs online too, right?
Yeah.
And so that's why we're here a little early this morning, so we got time for that. But it's amazing that you were willing to do this before doing that. And it speaks to your heart and how you want to do everything that you can do to share this message, right?
Yeah, I feel like this work of really learning to live in your heart is so even more important now than it's probably, well, it's always been important, but it's essential right now. It's really to me it's the most important thing that I can be doing. So the work you're doing, I was like, sign me up. I love it. I'm so happy to be here.
Well, we're happy to have you here. So tell us about the School of Sacredology. Like, what a fabulous name for starters. Where did you come up with that?
Well, all right. I'll say this in the shortest time possible because it's an interesting story, and I think it's important to share the backstory because I launched this recently. It actually I was planning to launch it this summer, and right as the pandemic started, I literally woke up and I heard in my inner voice say, "You need to launch that right now." And that was without any fancy website or anything. We just figured, okay, we need to start this. So about a year ago, my father had a very near fatal fall. I had it's a long story, but it was quite an incredible story. I was driving home from the beach and I saw a sign in the middle of a Hardy Beach area, and the whole sign changed, and it just said, "My dad's name is Ron," and it was an electric sign that said, 2-for-1 margaritas, and then it went black and it said, "Call Ron." And I got to tell you, yeah. So I was like, okay, I do, feel there's a lot of supportive energy around us that we can't understand. But I looked at the clock; it was late. I saw on the dashboard the number that shown was 18. That was the number of miles, and that in numerology also means life. So I thought, oh gosh, call my dad about his life, what is going on. I had forgotten, my kids were falling asleep, went home. The next morning, my dad called as we were leaving the beach, and he sounded horrible. He was in the hospital. And what I found out is he had fallen down his 13 concrete stairs in his basement, thinking he was going upstairs, didn't put the light on, went downstairs. And it was the exact time that I saw that sign.
Wow.
So I had booked my flight. I'm from Boston, going back to Boston to visit him. And as I'm getting through the airport, going to my gate, I see a book, which is a book I probably wouldn't have read. I think it was a kind of a political book, but the word sacred was on there, and it just lit up. And I thought, well, that's interesting. What is it? So paying attention to intuition and what, the messages we're getting is really important to me. Got on the plane and I just started journaling. Like, why did that light up? What does that mean? Sacred, am I supposed to live a more sacred life? What does sacred mean to me? How can I help others to live more sacred moments in their life? And the next thing I knew, this word popped in, sacredology. And I was like, I've never heard that. Is that a word? I started writing and I couldn't look it up. I didn't have Wi-Fi access, and I'm just writing about the word and what it means. And I realized it's really this art and study of how to live a sacred life, how to, no matter what's going on, how do we, whether it's a sacred practice, sacred nourishment, sacred money, all of it being connected to our heart, to the divine. So I took notes on it for about a year, and actually the word popped back in. My son was asking about what I was working on, and I said, oh, this and that. And then I said, oh, I'm thinking of this word program, Sacredology. And he said, Mommy, that's it. I love that. And he's 12, right? And I just could feel and hear okay, that's a sign again. So I just went with it, and it's an incredible community. We have already 50 people growing. It just launched a couple months ago. We meet every week. I bring in I have master classes with luminaries and leaders like the CEO of HeartMath and healers. And then the other sessions, we're really looking at how to live in your heart and how to make that a practice. And it's very experiential. It's just a beautiful community, and there's room for more. I mean, it's really about living and breathing this, like what you teach, the way of the heart. So that has been an incredible gift that sprung out of such a dark time.
Wow, that's quite an amazing story, hey? The universe is there, it supports us, it's got our back. And like you said, intuition is so important, and the little messages that come our way, it's just important to pay attention.
Yeah.
And what you described there, that's one of the 12 tenets of the Shindell. We have 4 foundational pillars that it's based in 12 tenets. And one of them is treat all life as sacred. Treat everything as sacred. There you are doing it. So if people are interested in that, I mean, I normally save that for the end, but we're talking about this, and it makes me excited and going, hey, how do I get to be part of that?
Yeah.
So how do people get to be part of that?
Yeah, well, I worked really quickly, really intently. I have amazing support, and I was like, we got to put something together so people can go and sign up and get and become part of it. So if you go to schoolofsacredology.com, you can find out more, enroll there. It's and it's spelled the way it sounds, School of Sacredology. And yeah,
putting it on screen. Let's see, how do we do here? School of Sacredology.
Yeah, you did it. Exactly. Yeah. It's actually literally just finished this page a couple days ago. It's yeah, I wanted to make it very accessible to people, but and it's amazing now with just, I think that the climate in our universe and our planet, this community, it is such a big-hearted, open-hearted, incredibly safe, supportive, beautiful learning community. You have, souls from all over the country, all over the world. And so if that's something that speaks to someone watching, I would love to either chat about it or sign up. I'd love to have you. It's an incredible space. And we do have a Facebook community, and I do a lot of meditations there. It's people that have been in it have been really amazed by how profound it's been in their life. It's been very cool.
Well, and as you say now more than ever, that sense of community is really important with people being alone more than with others. Even if the community is online, to be able to connect with people, open-hearted, like-minded, like-hearted people
Yeah.
makes a big difference in how we feel in what's going on.
Yeah. Huge. Huge. And I think, you know, some of the last Friday of every session of every month, I also do an intuitive reading or messages circle where I'll bring people in, and I have a deck of cards that I created, and I will pick and do intuitive messages. And what I found is it's not just, my intuition, everybody's connection to their heart wisdom and intelligence is increasing. It's kind of like all tides rise together, and that's the idea behind it. Is we're all raising our vibration, we're all elevating, we're all feeding the field with greater love. That's truly another amazing part about that, and not feeling alone right now, as you said.
Mhm, mhm. I love that, filling the field with greater love. I mean, do we really fill the field with greater love? The divine love is there, it's everywhere.
Yeah,
Perhaps we're just feeling it more. We're being more aware of it. We're bringing it more actively into our day-to-day life
yeah,
and just being it. Be the love.
yeah.
Be the love you want to see in the world. Everybody quotes Gandhi as saying, be the change you wish to see. And
Yeah.
I think our catchphrase is be the love you wish to see.
I love that. Yeah, I believe that it is all who you're being. I think of when you think of the things that are spreading that we don't want, like you think of, COVID and just right now dealing with, all of the backlash of hundreds of years of racism, right? That's been spreading. And I think of, well, let's use the principle of viral and use that with being loving, being loving, be that loving force, let that spread, let that be the virus that spreads. That's how I think of it is, and I get to be everyone tuning in, we get to choose to be that viral love component. I mean, that's the kind of virus I want to see spreading.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's the kind of virus I want to see spreading too.
Yeah.
It was interesting on Facebook. Somebody did a post, and I just realized my little logo is right there in your head. I'm going to take it off of your head.
Oh,
There you go.
it's all good.
And I see that Sandy Dacey is here with us this morning saying, "Good morning, sunshine. You look beautiful. Hello, Julie. Love the concept of School of Sacredology.com. Happy to have you with us, Sandy." Um, that's the fun of doing these shows live. We get the opportunity to interact with people a little bit too. And yes. So, yes, I was saying I saw this post on Facebook where somebody said, uh, and no, I don't want to date this, but we have to look at the situation. So there was the death of a Black person by a white cop recently in the United States,
Yeah.
and there's been lots of posting, lots of outcry and hue about how racism is unfair and wrong and all these things. And it's great that the reality of it comes up. Somebody did this post, like, we love a Black today, and the only thing I could respond was love everyone today.
Mm-hmm.
Just love everyone. We can focus on this and we can protest against what's going on, but as Mother Teresa said,
Mm-hmm.
I don't fight against anything, I stand for.
Yeah.
And so if we were just delivering as many messages about having love go viral, as you say, as we did about protesting against things, I think the energy of pro-love versus anti something,
Mm-hmm.
um, it's different.
Yeah.
And I think it's higher vibrational and it can make a bigger impact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, the way I look at it is there was a great post I saw. Actually, I reposted it. It was so beautiful. It was this beautiful young Black girl that had a picture, and it said, she was talking about Black Lives Matter, saying, we said Black Lives Matter, not that all lives don't matter. We need your help right now. And I thought, I love the word of being an ally to me, versus when you get into the words like anti or, so to me, I've been really thinking about how can I spread love to everybody and especially really be a support to my Black brothers and sisters. How can I do that? How can I be more loving and supportive? However, and like that doesn't mean I'm not, I mean, I want to be loving and supportive to every single person, every being. And that also, you could even take that into well, I was thinking into all beings, animals, plants. And of course, part of me also feels that what we're seeing in the collective, I believe is a mirror of internal. And so looking at myself too, where have I, um, been, where have I done these kinds of, being horrendous or mean or negative to myself? Where have I done that to me? And where can I bring in compassion and love? I just think about that all the time. If that's a mirror, where how can I heal myself more so that I can be that healing space for others?
Mm.
It's a tall order, but I mean, that's what I feel like that's what we're here for. That's why I chose to come in this lifetime. So I'm like, all right, bring it on. I'm ready to step up. But I agree with you with heart really leading the way. There's such a difference. And actually, one of the things I do is I track it with the heart coherence, the inner balance device that HeartMath has. I put it on and you can track your coherence. I can see like, oh, I am not in heart coherence, or I can start to feel, oh, walking in nature gets me right there, right? So I think even self-care right now is crucial, really crucial.
Absolutely, absolutely. I was just having a conversation with someone yesterday who was talking about that very thing, like having that love and the healing for ourselves and seeing, yeah, where am I committing those travesties against myself? What I'm seeing in the world, how is as I said at the beginning, the Shindell, the way of the heart, living with love, kindness, and compassion for self first. Because when you have that for yourself, then it can flow out to the world.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
yeah, being in that space is really, really critical. So I love that that's where you're focusing and bringing that to our viewers and our listeners' attention. Pay attention to how kind you're being to yourself. How loving are you being to yourself?
Yeah.
Where can you bring more of that into your life? So, what are some of the practices that you use besides wearing the heart math monitor? Not everyone has one of those.
Yeah. 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 I will share. I've called it. I used to rebel against structure or being told like what to do, having a routine. I'm one of those kind of free spirit types. I have structure because to live in the world, have children, have a business, you need it. But I decided this is sort of in the line of like sacredology. I call it my sacred structure, and it really really helps ground me. And so I actually start every morning. I was trained in Reiki 1, basic Reiki. And let me say, even if you were not trained in Reiki 1, what you can do is there are 8 hand positions. But what you could do is, if you don't know all those 8 hand positions, start by putting your hand on your heart. Wake up. And I notice I've been waking up with my hand on my heart in the middle of the night. I'll do that all the time. So I start and I do these 8 positions, and I always come back to my heart. One of them is on your heart, on your chest. So I come back and I start there because I like the idea of giving that energy to myself first. Um, I typically try most mornings to do some sort of, breathing, meditation, invocation of the divine, sitting still, journaling. I do a lot of intuitive writing, sacred writing, where I will ask questions and just see what comes up. I like to do that because it helps get what's inside of me out on the paper. And taking walks in nature, most mornings I do that, non-negotiable. And one thing I've added is and this might sound different and odd, but I'll tell you, it's really powerful, is I just try to feel from my heart space the energy of especially trees. They're very grounding.
Mhm.
And one thing has helped me, especially during COVID and what's happened, is you just, everything in nature is still blooming. In fact, it's been blooming incredibly, even more so it seems like. So I just try to tune into that energy of their steadiness, their sturdiness. their beauty, their grace, their groundedness. And as I'm walking, kind of imagining connecting with them, communicating with them, with the birds, like that's part of my practice. Or I will listen to something very, inspirational, empowering, grounding. And those things for me, I mean, I do also try to do a grounding before I start work, ground myself, hand to heart throughout the day. But these are some of the practices. And then, of course, just really eating with intention. That's a whole other area. I used to, I struggled with food addiction for most of my life. And so for me to be able to really eat mindfully and eat with attention and intention is a miracle. And so that's a whole other area we could talk about. But I do find that sacred focus and intention has just increased joy and ability to be present. And it doesn't mean I don't have feelings of grief and anger and all of those other feelings. It's just, I try to do something in that realm every day. And other things too, but that those practices seem to help me a lot.
And they're simple practices. Anyone can do them. I mean, I love that. Start this way. Start with hands on the heart. I love that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's beautiful. So simple. And what a great way to start the day. Like, wake up and put your hands on your heart. I love that. Thank you, Julie. That's a gem worth a lot right there.
Awesome.
So what else can you tell us about what it means to live from the heart for you? I mean, you've shared so much already.
Yeah, it's interesting. One of the part of what my background is, I got a degree in coaching. And I actually, one of the tenets of coaching really is deep listening, is powerful listening, is asking appreciative questions, asking questions that are going to have you think in new ways. I don't remember who said this, but we live, the idea that we live in a participatory universe, that we get to create our reality. And so, I actually just started a certification program for those who want to become coaches, because I really see that work as being a light worker. When you and whether you want to be a coach or not, the basic principles, it's a little different than counseling and consulting. It's all about real deep listening for what people are saying and not saying. So if you strip away whether or not coaching, you're into that doesn't matter. If you can work on your listening, your deep listening of your heart and others' hearts, to me, that is one of the most valuable gifts we can give to ourselves and to others. It's helped me to transform so much in my own life. We don't have enough time to go into it, but I have literally, and I'm talking between food addiction and leaving a marriage that didn't work and leaving a corporate job when I was a single mom and going back to school and starting my own business, all of that came from as I start to listen to my heart and tune into others and listen to their hearts. And so I think when you have, I'm seeing like the infinity symbol, when you have that balance of deeply listening to yourself and then listening to others and coming from heart, it can't steer you wrong. And so to me, listening is like the lost art of listening, I believe, is something that could help really shift consciousness, shift our planet. And it starts with being, curious and open and loving, right? And not judging. And that really, to me, whoa, that is the work. Not judging, which means not judging myself, because judging is suffering. So, there's a whole lot more to unpack, but that really, to me, the deep listening and being there's an open space without judgment. That is, I believe our heart is asking us, to do that. I really do.
I agree. That's beautiful. Yeah. Listen, 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 listen. Been my life lesson. I ask a lot of questions and then don't think to stop and wait for the answer most of my life, right? It's like you can
I get
ask, but if you don't listen for the answer,
yeah,
it's pointless.
well, we're going to miss it. You can miss it. And this is the thing. We are living in such a high achiever, and I am like a recovering high achiever. I get it, but producing world. And I do think part of this gift of pausing with what's happened with the pandemic has been a gift to really, if you choose to do more listening and going within. And I really, oh my gosh, I mean, that has saved my life. I have an autoimmune condition that was not doing well, and I learned to be still and to listen. And the last 9 years, it's been almost non-existent. So this, our food is medicine, words are medicine, listening is medicine, being in your heart is medicine. To me, that's the real medicine for all of us, is that deep listening and giving yourself space and time to do that. Now, I'm telling you, I am not someone that this came easy to. If you know anything about astrology, I'm a fire sign. I've got fire throughout my chart. Like, I am let's do stuff. So for me to sit my butt down, to get quiet, I mean, I've been training myself for years, and it's starting to become natural, but it's a practice. We practice, and especially in our society, it takes practice to sit down, to be quiet, to listen, to give yourself space and time. It has to become a real desire and a focus, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hear ya. We are two peas in a pod. I am also a fire sign. And when you were when you were talking earlier about how you don't like the structure, I'm wondering, I wonder if she's a 5. I'm a 32-5 life path number, and it's all about freedom and discipline,
Yeah,
and learning that the discipline does actually bring you freedom.
yeah.
But
That
we
is,
resist.
yes, that is definitely, in fact, I'm looking at my board that have all my beautiful, mottos and words, my manifesto, and it's like, it's loving. I have, I have all these things about discipline, about being loving, because for me, I can be disciplined, but having that structure, learning to like love it, has taken time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
big time.
I hear
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Uh, oh, I have to share this quote. I'm going to put it on screen. And for those who are only listening and not watching, it says, "You are so
Oh,
relatable, Julie. Thank you for your transparency. Hands on the heart, starting your day." Wow. It's,
thank you, Sandy. Anything you love. That is so sweet. Thank you.
yeah,
It's very powerful. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it is. And everything you're sharing is powerful. The being in the space of listening, treating all life as sacred, um, doing best to see where we're not being compassionate with ourselves and giving ourselves more of that compassion, love,
Mm.
also in alignment with the Shindell. I understand why you got excited when you heard about it, because we are in perfect alignment with these ways of looking at life,
Yeah.
this way of shifting our way of being
Yeah.
into being more present, and talking about mindfulness, mindful eating. Just sometimes I have to do this too, because I'm a real high gear go. Sit down and just take a few deep breaths, like breathe into the belly, and do that a few times before I start to eat my food, so that I've slowed everything down.
Yeah.
And I do my best to bless my food always, to give thanks for that food, ask it to align with my body. But it begins with the breath,
Yeah.
with that
Yeah.
slow it down. Long, slow in, long, slow out. And I know that you spend a lot of time in mindfulness practices yourself. I'm guessing, is that some of what you bring to the School of Sacredology as well?
Yeah, it's interesting. About 18 years ago, found real amazing support for this food addiction. I mean, it really ruled my life for a lot of my life, and I got involved in 12 steps and other programs, and then really did a lot of inner work. And one in the 12-step world, there's the 11th step is about going through meditation, and so I started there, and then I did a master's degree in coaching, and we studied the science of mindfulness, and we had to meditate. And I remember the professor was like, "You are the most, I love you." She's like, "I've never seen someone who can't sit still as much as you." She's like, "Just start with 30 seconds." So this practice really saved my life, changed my life, and I got very involved with the thing that helped me was actually Insight Timer, which is an app, a mindfulness app. And what's amazing is I decided I'm gonna record a few, and I'm gonna help people. It's a free app. So I started recording. I found someone who knew someone who was with Insight Timer, and today I have about 20 meditations up there. They're free. I have a course for those who want support around food addiction, all from a mindfulness perspective. And it's changed my life. I have to do that daily. I mean, I don't have to. I choose to because it helps me to be free from that addiction. Honestly, from that addictive behavior, which shows up in food. It probably could be other things, but that really is the main one. And so, in Sacredology, I do bring in meditation. We always start everything with heart connection. I've done a lot of different kinds of visualization guided meditations, a lot with energy chakras. But I also have one a week that I've been, up that I put in there. But it's always, we start everything with that because, first of all, just getting within your body, getting grounded, coming home to your breath. I mean, it's rare that people do that on their own, right? So to me, the quality of connection is related to the quality of connection. The quality of connection to others is related to the quality of connection with yourself. Um, so that's important. Yeah.
That's cool. So, wow, half hour Zoom.
Yeah.
So if people want to get a hold of you, other than through the School of Sacredology, if they're
Yeah.
interested in your coaching or getting more assistance with the food addiction issues, or what else are they going to find at juliereisler.com?
Yeah. So there's a lot. There's a lot there. I tend to just have a lot of I love life. I have a lot there. So if you want to learn more, if you're interested in working with me, if anyone's listening and they're like, I would like more support around how to tap into my intuition, get unstuck, feel more, like my light is shining brighter. I do one-on-one coaching. I also have if anyone's interested in coaching, like learning to be a coach, I have a certification program starting again in September. I have one right now. And I call it my life designer. It's what I call it, to help people design their best life. So you can find out there. I have my books. I have my declaration cards, which are all intentions with questions to ask yourself and declarations. The School of Sacredology information is there. My podcast information is there. Oh, there's a lot there. There's a lot. I mean, you could kind of have some fun. There's my TED Talks, and I also have some other inspirational videos and things like that. My thing is really, I don't want to look back ever, Tina, later in my life or at the end of my life, hopefully in a long, long time, and say I did not fully utilize and maximize my heart and my heart's potential. I'm really driven by that. So you'll see that on my website. There's a lot.
Hmm. Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. I love that. Again, we're two peas in a pod.
Yeah.
My big challenge is that all the business experts out there say, be an expert in something, focus, narrow your scope, have one big offering. And yet here you are, your big offering is live from your heart. And it comes in a lot of different ways,
Yeah,
right?
I call it being your You-est you. Be your You-est you. And I believe that the access point is through heart. I do. That's it. It's simple, but not always something we remember, including myself.
Simple, but not necessarily easy. And that's why we need help sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, wow. Thank you, Julie. You've offered everyone so much in what you've shared here. Wishing you all the best with the course that you're about to launch here in just a little bit, like literally in less than an hour. And I just thank you for being your You-est you, and bringing you into the world with such a beautiful light. You have such a beautiful smile. Your heart shines through your face and your eyes. And it's a blessing to have had you here.
Thank you so much, Tina. That really means a lot to me. I'm like, oh, that feels good. I feel that received. And right back at you,
Mm,
what we see in others we have. And I appreciate you, appreciate doing this, love what your whole mission and this whole, what this program is about. I hope many, many people tune in because the more we can get living from the way of the heart, oh my gosh, the better. Thank you.
absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We'll say ciao for now. Tune in next week when we have another great guest joining us. In the meantime, create a beautiful week for yourself.